Good morning, folks. Beautiful fall morning. It's October 23rd, and yesterday it was about 82 degrees here in southeast Iowa, which is a beautiful day for this time of year. We got this old unmarked Wagner cast iron skillet. You probably can't read that at all. It says 11 3/4 inch skillet, made in the USA. That I'm gonna clean up today. I've been meaning to make this video all summer, and well, summer's gotten away from me. It is definitely fall. Got the swimming pool covered up and trying to get everything winterized. So I'm gonna clean this skillet up in the campfire. I know lots of people do not approve of that method of cleaning up a skillet, but I've done it with several of them, and if you're careful and you don't throw them in there and heat them till they're glowing orange, just heat them enough to bake everything off of there, I've had good results on every one that I've ever done. So I'm going to show you how I do it today. Now I will say, this isn't a family heirloom. This wasn't grandma's skillet that she cooked on my entire life or anything like that. So if you've not done this before and your skillet means a lot to you, this may not be the way for you to clean up your skillet. Pile all this kindling wood in here. I'll even break up this piece of bark I gathered it all up in. There we go. Now we just gotta wait. It'll take a good hour and a half probably before I got a bed of coals in there that I'm happy with. At this point, while I'm just waiting for the fire to burn down, I'm going to go ahead and bring the skillet over here. I'm just going to lean it up against the outside of the burn ring and let it start heating up, and I'll flip that over side to side every few minutes so it gets heated up evenly, so I'm not throwing a stone cold cast iron skillet into the fire coals here, and that gets burned down just a little bit more. That's getting good now. We're finally getting down to where all the pieces of wood are crumbling up. Getting a good hot bed of coals in there. Okay, we got a good bed of coals here now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rake some of this stuff out to the outer edges. This skillet is just about too hot to pick up with my bare hands now. I'm going to nestle it right down in there. Where it's got good contact down in the coals. Take my shovel and shovel a few of these pieces from around the edges up into the middle of it and just kind of bury it in these coals. We don't need a big rip-roaring bonfire. What I am going to do is I'm going to put a whole bunch more little twigs and sticks in here. So that it kind of fills it in with ashes all around it. Just kind of bury the whole thing in there. And then throw some of these finely split up pieces of wood around the edges so it'll stay burning for a while. And that's it. I won't touch it again until the fire's gone out, and then I'll come out with my welding gloves and get the skillet out after the fire's completely burned out. Okay, it's been about an hour since I put that in there. I'm going to get it out of there. I got my welding gloves on, but I'm going to just hook it with a hooked piece of wire through the handle, and I'm going to bring it over here and hang it up. Let it hang there until it's cool enough that I can handle it with my bare hands. Alright, I brought it over here to the side of my swing that's back here by the fire, hung it up, and I'll just let it hang up there until I can pick it up with my bare hands and take it up to my little outside sink area, and then we'll give it a good scrubbing and see what it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and put a few more pieces of wood back in the fire because I'm gonna keep that fire hot so that we can season it over the campfire. Okay, this is cooled off enough now that I can handle it by hand easily. Sorry about the wind noise. The wind has really picked up this morning. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to wash it with water, a little bit of Dawn dish soap, and a scrubby sponge, and scrub it down good and try to get it as clean as possible. And this will take a while. I'll scrub it and rinse it and scrub it and rinse it, and probably end up getting another new scrubby sponge out and just keep scrubbing and rinsing until the whole thing is completely clean. There's some pretty deep pitting in there. This poor old thing was pretty rusty. I think it sat outside somewhere for a long time. Then after I got it, it sat in my garage for, well, I know it was in the bottom of my toolbox when I was still living at my old house. So that was in 2008. And that's where it sat until recently. So it's been sitting around a long time, but when I got it, it looked like it had sat outside somewhere. And it's got some pretty deep pitting on the inside bottom and on the outside bottom. It's pretty rusty and pitted. We'll keep scrubbing on it for a while, see how it turns out. Okay, you can see just the rusty pink looking soap suds. That's all the rust coming up out of the pores of this metal. And I will keep scrubbing and scrubbing and scrubbing on this until all I get is white soap suds. And I might be here an hour just cleaning and cleaning, but eventually all my soap suds will quit looking pink and rusty like that. And I don't know how well you'll be able to see it. Some pretty significant pitting there, and a little spot right up here. I don't know how well you can see it, but a little spot up in this corner that's pretty deeply pitted. And I think it's because this pan laid outside somewhere and probably had dirt and leaves in it, and those spots stayed wet and got pretty badly pitted. Okay, I have scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed until my soap suds are staying pretty much white now. I'm not getting that rusty color. Even on the back, it gets a little bit rusty looking, but it's pretty good. I'm not as concerned about having the bottom of it perfect. So I'm gonna rinse it off good, dry it thoroughly, and take it back and put it over the fire to get it good and hot and dry it out so we can season it up. Sorry about that, the battery died. Had to switch out the battery. So here we go. We're gonna finish rinsing this off, get all the soap off of it, get all the soap out of the inside. I'll be interested to see how these pitted areas accept seasoning on it. Get all the soap rinsed out thoroughly, then dry it off as dry as I can with a towel, and then get it back to the fire and put it over the fire to get it good and baked dry. I'll get it up to about 200 or 225 degrees, and then I'll put my first coat of Crisco on it to start seasoning it. I need to dry it right away or it'll start to flash rust before I even get back to the fire and get it dry. Alright, I'm going to put this pan right over the heat there, let it start heating up. When that gets to be between 200 and 225 degrees, I'll take it off and put a coat of Crisco on it. Alright, there it is. We're about 220, 225. Depending on where you go, it's around 200 to 225 on there. I'm going to get a paper towel. Just some Walmart brand Crisco. Start wiping this thing down. just want to get a good thin coat of Crisco on every bit of it. Now I'm going to fold the towel so that there's a dry side of it out and wipe it so that there's no excess. You don't want to have it dripping on there. You just want to have a super thin layer over the whole entire thing. Now I'll bring the skillet back over here. Put it back over the fire, and I'll monitor the temperature of it and keep it between 300 and 400 degrees for 1 hour. Then after an hour, I'll let it cool down to about 200 degrees again, put another coat of Crisco on it, and put it back on there and keep it between 350 and 400 degrees for about another half hour or so, and it'll be ready to start using. Down to about 360 degrees. I'll go ahead and flip it over, and I'll stir up that fire underneath there a little bit and get it heated up a little more. It's been right at an hour. Let's see here. That's hot. Let's take it over here to the table. Okay, we're back over here at the picnic table. I wiped out, there's a few little pieces of ash stuck to the inside. Now, I don't know if you can see, but around there where that discoloration is, that's where the people that are against cleaning your cast iron in the fire are going to say that I have ruined this pan by getting it too hot. But it was way brighter than that before the first coat of seasoning, and I'm guessing after we get another coat in there it'll be a little bit less, and I know after I use it for a while it'll get to where you can't even see it anymore, because I've got other pans that I've done the same thing with. I'm going to let this cool down until it gets back down to about 200 degrees, give it another good coat of Crisco, and it'll go right back on the fire for another 45 minutes or so at between 350 and 400 degrees again. Alright, we're back down to about 200 degrees. Gonna put another layer of Crisco in there. Coat the whole entire thing again, just like last time. Top, bottom, inside and out, the handle, everything. Rub it in until you got a nice, thin, even coat on there that's not going to drip or run. And right back over the fire again. Right back over the hot fire, and we'll heat it up to 350 to 400 degrees again. Let it go for about another 45 minutes. Then I'll take it off and it will be ready to start using. There it is. Take it off. I'll wipe out these ashes that have blown in there. Certainly has been a windy day for doing something like this. I'm going to go ahead and put one more thin layer of Crisco on it while it's good and hot now. And then let it sit here and cool down, and I will start using it to cook in. The more you use it, the better it will get. Put another, just wipe it in here so it's just a super thin layer and coat it all really good. And then I'll let it just cool down to room temperature. I guess I'm not in a room. Let it cool down to the ambient temperature. And it is ready to start using. I'll use this one every time I grab a cast iron skillet for the next few weeks now, just to start getting it broke in good. The longer you use it, the more you use it, the darker and the better it will get. Doesn't look too bad. Those red spots will get darker and blend in with the rest of it as we use it. Actually, I think I'm gonna flip it back over so that leaves don't land in it while it's sitting here cooling down.